Hey, welcome back to another Pragmatic Works YouTube video. My name is Nate Hallowell, and today we're going to be taking a look at how to take your model-driven app game up a notch using the skills that you already have in Canvas apps. Today we are talking about custom pages in your model-driven apps. Let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so here is a model-driven app that I have. This is very meta of me to do this, but here's a simple model-driven app that I use to kind of track the ideas that I have for these YouTube videos. And whenever those videos get published, I go ahead and kind of track how they're doing, the view counts. I like to keep a list of those videos so I can have easy access to the URLs and I can send them to customers that have specific questions. And I just want to take this up a notch. With model-driven apps, a lot of times there's just functionality that we want to do and we know we can do in Canvas apps, but it's not something that comes out of the box with a model-driven app. And when we want to do certain things, we might get scared because we think we have to write some custom code. But if you know your way around Canvas apps, you can build a custom page that is embedded here on the left-hand navigation, just like your Dataverse tables are, and it's going to be a one-page Canvas app. So without further ado, let's dive into our solution and we'll start building out a custom page that will help take this model-driven app kind of to the next level and allow us to do things that we couldn't do out of the box with a model-driven app. So going over to my solution, I'm going to go up to New, and I'm going to go to App, and I'm going to do a new page. Now these custom pages are essentially one-page Canvas apps that we can embed in our model-driven apps, but I'll actually show you a way that you can enable the use of multiple screens in this page. So it is basically just going to be a full Canvas app embedded in this model-driven app. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a layout, and we'll go with, how about a sidebar? Why not? And we have a nice kind of containerized responsive app here. And the first thing I want to do is use this header container, and I want to insert a header. So one thing to note with these custom pages is that at this current moment in time, if we go to upcoming features, just like we would with a Canvas app, to turn on the modern controls and themes, you'll see that it's not actually an option there. But what we can do is go to General and scroll down, and we can search for modern controls and themes right here in the General section. And now we have access to those modern controls. So I can come up here to my header container, insert, and put in a header. Perfect. Now on this side, I want to add in some data from Dataverse. The nice thing about these custom pages is that we can add data from any data source, just like you would with a Canvas app. So we can go in and add some data. And this is where we can add things like Outlook or Office 365 users or SharePoint or Excel, things that you couldn't typically add into a model-driven app. So for this, however, I do have some Dataverse tables. I have two tables called Video Ideas and Published Videos. Now the whole purpose of this video is to show you how to do things that you can't really do with a model-driven app, but how you can still have those features in your model-driven app with a page. So for this, I do have obviously that URL, so maybe we'll show how to embed some YouTube videos, things like that. On this left sidebar container, I'll go ahead and add a gallery. So I'll go back to Classic and search for my vertical gallery. And for this, we'll just make this Published Videos. So we can go ahead and add things like video idea dot video name, and we can go ahead and add in some other fields here, maybe the published date. I don't actually have an image, so I'll go ahead and change the layout to title and subtitle. Now because this is in a container, which I'm not fully used to using at this point, we're just gonna change the width here. We'll change this to parent dot width. That would be the width of the container that it is in. And for the height, I'll do the same thing. Parent.height. Now over in this middle section, I'm going to add in, let's do a video. I will do the same thing. We'll do parent.width for the width. And for the height, we'll do parent.height. And now for the video that I want to show, the link to this YouTube video over here on the left. And there we go. Just like that, we have some embedded YouTube videos right inside of a model-driven app. Now, one idea that I have is maybe I want the ability to select multiple items and then to copy the links for those items and send them out in an email. That is something that we might not be able to do very easily out of the box with a model-driven app, so I think it'd be a great use case for this video. So in this gallery, I'm going to go ahead and insert a checkbox. You know what? I'll use the modern checkbox. Maybe for this title, I'll get rid of this. We'll get rid of the title altogether. And then the text of this checkbox, we'll tie it to the video name. Go ahead and fix our reference error. And I'll go ahead and give myself a little bit more room with the template height. Now, one thing I might want to do with the functionality here is be able to select multiple videos and then navigate to another screen where I can then send those videos to some selected contacts or selected users, or I can manually type in some email addresses, whatever I want to do here. So in order to enable another page on a custom page, we can go into settings, go to display, we'll scroll all the way to the bottom, and we can enable multiple screens. Now on my tree view, I can go ahead and add a new screen. We'll stick with this same theme here. I'll go ahead and insert a header. Now back to my main screen, as I select these items, so on check, collect, into call vids, this item. On uncheck, remove, from call vids, this item. And then for whether it is checked or not, we'll go to the checked property, and we'll say this item dot published video, that is our GUID, is in col vids dot published video. In this screen, I'm going to go ahead and insert a button so that once we've selected all of the records we are wanting to send, we can go ahead and navigate to the next screen. Navigate to screen 2. Another awesome thing about these custom pages is we know that this is going to be embedded in a model-driven app. So if at any point we want to go ahead and edit this item in the actual model-driven form, we can navigate to that form for this item in the model-driven app very easily. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and insert an edit icon. And on select, all we have to do is navigate to this item. That will actually navigate us to the model-driven form for this record in Dataverse. This button, for the visibility, I'll go ahead and say not is empty col vids. As we select some items, we can then go ahead and proceed to the next screen. So on this screen, I'll go ahead and insert a very similar gallery. So I'm going to copy this gallery 1. I'm going to come over to my screen 2. And in this container, I will go ahead and paste my gallery. To test this, I'm going to go up into this header container and I'll put in a little back arrow. I'll reorder this and move it to the start. And then on select, we'll just help the user navigate back to screen 1. They can deselect. Now we have 2. Perfect. So in this container, I'm going to go ahead and add a gallery of users that I could send this to. And because we want to show all the possibilities for cool connectors that you could not usually add in a model-driven app, I'm going to go ahead and add a data source. And I'll use Office 365 users. So I'll create that connection here. And then in this gallery, I can go ahead and insert a vertical gallery. And for the items, we'll make this Office 365 users dot search user v2. For the search term, you know what? Let's go ahead and in this container, I will also insert a text input. And I will move this to the top. This will be our txt search. So our search term here will be txt search dot value. And we'll return the top, we'll say 20. And we'll do dot value. And for the labels, we can put in this item dot display name. Go up to play and test this out. And we're finding our users. Perfect. Another thing we could not really do with a model-driven app is have pictures like this. So for the image, we'll do if error Office 365 users dot user photo. The ID will be this item dot mail. So if that returns an error, we'll just return blank. Go up to play. We can search for Nate. There's Nate right there. I'm going to get rid of this label here. I can go up to insert and I'll put in a checkbox on check. We'll go ahead and collect into COL users this item dot mail. Then right below this gallery, I'm going to go ahead and put in a button. We'll say send vids, and then on select of that button, let's add Outlook. On select, we'll do Office 365.send email v2. For who this is going to, we will concat COL users, the value, and we'll separate that with a semicolon. For the subject, we can say, here are some videos to help your learning. And for the body, we can concat COL vids with the video link. And we can separate that with character 10, which will be a line break. Then after that, notify the user. We can then clear COL vids. We can then clear COL users. We can then reset text search, and we can navigate the user back to screen 1. All right, so the time has come. We've got a lot in here that is not out of the box with model-driven apps, so let's see how we can actually use it in our model-driven app. I'm going to go ahead and publish this custom page, and once that has saved and published, I'm going to return to our solution and add that to our model-driven app. Here I am back in my solution. Let's go into our model-driven app, and we're going to go and add a page just like we would with a Dataverse table. So we'll add a page. This time we'll select custom page. We'll use an existing custom page, and there's our custom video page that we just created. We'll click add. It says the app needs to be republished. So let's publish this model-driven app, and then we'll play it and we'll see if it works. It's currently updating and to refresh with a newer version. So we'll just keep doing that until it works. Go ahead and refresh one more time just for good measure. It says it's still republishing. We're going to allow these connections. And there we go. It seems to work. So we've got an embedded video in our model-driven app that we can go ahead and play. We can select a few videos here from our list. We can go next. We can search for a user that might find this helpful. We can add Nate to that list of people, and we can send Nate those 3 videos. It says the email was sent. It navigated us back. Here's that email. It didn't really separate the videos like I would have wanted. I think because this is an HTML email, I could have just used a BR as my separator. But as you can see, this is still very easy to set up. It's very easy to go back and tweak. The nice thing is here, because we're in a model-driven app, if we want to edit one of these items, we can click this edit pencil. That will take us right to the model-driven form. We can go back and it will take us right back to our custom page. So I know this was a lot. It was rapid fire, but hopefully this gets some ideas churning in your head for how you could take your model-driven apps to the next level with some custom pages. Thanks so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video.